Marc Martel, one of my oldest friends. Not because you're old. Love the puppet voice. Very, very great. We've done, how many tours did we do with each other?
I want to say
Six tours. So, yeah. Lots of time on the road with each other. One of my favorite moments on the road with you was when, you had that moment where you auditioned to be a part of the Queen extravaganza, and that had gone viral, and you were on Ellen and all these things, and we were on tour with you, and it was me and you and your group down here, and our friend Aaron Schust, the Call to Love tour. That was one of the best tours ever. And one of the things I loved about it is that because all that was happening, we had this new audience who was coming to hear this guy who sounded a lot like Freddie Mercury, and you closed out the night with Somebody to Love, and that was just like a great moment, especially the end of the song, because me and Aaron would come out and rock and roll style lean against each other back to back and sing background vocals on one mic together.
In one mic, yes.
Wearing our Marc Martel t-shirts.
Yeah, the bright red Marc Martel t-shirts. Perfect.
That was a great moment. But so love having you on the show again and getting to hang out with you. You're originally from Canada. Like, do they have Christmas in Canada? Like what goes on for Christmas in Canada?
Well, I come from a long line of traditionless people. Not because Canada doesn't celebrate Christmas. We absolutely do. And I've come, living in the States, I've come to kind of prefer the way the U.S. does it. It's kind of like a long holiday season. Like when we used to hear in Canada, Happy Holidays, I'm just like, well, it's one holiday. Because Thanksgiving is like a lot earlier in Canada. But now that you know, Americans like work hard, play hard, so they stick all their holidays in one whole month, and it's just kind of like you do Thanksgiving and sort of go back to work, and then...
I think Halloween is kind of being absorbed into the holidays as well.
It kind of is. It does feel like that, doesn't it?
It's like 4 holidays.
Yeah. But on top of that, I grew up in a family where my dad was French-Canadian, my mom was English-Canadian, and French-Canadians celebrate Christmas a little differently than the rest of Canada. They have like their own meat pie recipes, and they do Christmas Eve differently. Like they open their gifts Christmas Eve at midnight. Okay. And we didn't really figure out what we were going to do as a family, so every year was a little bit different. We were like, what are we going to do this year? Are we going to stay up with the French Canadians or wait till the morning and open our gifts with the English? Well,
the classic dilemma.
You can guess when the kids wanted to do it, right? Yeah. So usually we'd end up opening our gifts at midnight. But it's a little different. But we love Christmas too. Yeah. I obviously love Christmas. I've recorded 40 Christmas songs.
40 Christmas songs. And I'm going to ask you about that on the next round, but for now I want to ask you, what do you want to play for us first?
Well, I'm sort of more well-known as my tribute work for Queen these days, and wouldn't you know it, Queen has a Christmas song. They wrote a Christmas song in the early 80s, and I never liked it. I didn't discover it until fairly recently. And I think the production on the song is very kind of stale. It's all like synthesizers and stuff. They were going through that phase. But I recorded it a couple years ago, and I think I like my version better.
Yeah, well, that's a bold thing to say. Let's see.
Thank God it's Christmas.
In this brief conversation, you may have offended Canadians.
Yes.
And maybe Queen fans, and all of that is so rock and roll.
It's very rock and roll.
So I can't wait to hear what you're going to do.
Oh, my love, we've had our share of tears. Oh, my friends, we've had our hopes and fears. Oh, my friends, it's been a long, hard year, but now it's Christmas. Yes, it's Christmas. Thank God it's Christmas. The moon and stars seem awful cold and bright. Let's hope the snow will make this Christmas right. My friend, the world will share this special night because it's Christmas. Yes, it's Christmas. Thank God it's Christmas. For one night. Thank God it's Christmas. Thank God it's Christmas. Hey, thank God it's Christmas. Thank God it's Christmas. Can it be Christmas? Let it be Christmas every day. Oh, my love, we live in troubled days. Oh, my friend, we have the strangest ways. Ooh. Oh, my friend, on this one day of days, thank God it's Christmas. Yes, it's Christmas. Thank God it's Christmas. For one day. Thank God it's Christmas. Thank God it's Christmas. Hey, thank God it's Christmas. Ooh, thank God it's. Can you believe it's finally here? Hey, thank God it's Christmas.
Acoustic Storytime Christmas, live from the Well Coffee House in Nashville,
Amazing.
Tennessee on Sirius XM.
Well done. Thank you.
Mark, you were saying earlier that you've recorded over 40 Christmas songs. You've had such a interesting career. You know, you had all those years with the band Down Here, and then you've been doing the Queen thing for a number of years now. But also, parallel with all of that, you've been releasing Christmas songs, 40 plus Christmas songs over the years. And a number of Christmas albums. And what's interesting, well, you are kind of becoming the voice of Christmas, and you've been doing that by doing all kinds of collaborations with all kinds of other artists. Like, who are some of the artists that you've collaborated with?
Yeah, it's been pretty incredible.
And also, who's your favorite?
And thank you for giving me a chance to say that you are my favorite guy I've ever
Thank you very much.
collaborated
Yes, I collaborated with Marc Martel. I was hoping you'd say that I was your favorite. Thank you very much.
But
we got to do. We did.
Come All You Faithful.
Come On,
right?
You Faithful. Yeah, I loved it.
But it's been pretty amazing to see how this thing has grown over the years. I've gotten to work with Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith on Silver Bells, worked again with Amy a couple of years ago on the Christmas Waltz, and then word gets out that I'm doing all this Christmas stuff, and then I get to work with Joe Bonamassa, who's one of the greatest blues guitarists in the world, Arnel Pineda, who's the singer of Journey, Reese Winans just recently, who plays with Joe, but also is more well known as the keyboardist in Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble. So pretty amazing array of artists that I get to do this thing. You know, I don't I haven't spent a lot of time writing music over the last few years, and a lot of that's on me, but a lot of that is also because I'm so busy with the Queen stuff.
Yeah.
So when I want to get around to making some new music, Christmas is like the perfect time to do that, and it makes me a better jazz piano player. But this is not a jazz song that I'm going to do for you. This is speaking of jazz songs. Here's very much not a jazz song. It's from, I guess most people here would know Andrew Peterson. And the thing maybe that he's most well known for is Behold the Lamb of God, the tour that he does every year based on the album of the same name. And my favorite song on that album is Labor of Love. It's a beautiful portrayal of what Mary and Joseph went through around the birth of Jesus. And of course, any parent can relate to any of that. So I recorded it on my most recent album. This is the first time I've ever performed it. Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. It was not a silent night. There was blood on the ground. You could hear a woman cry in the alleyways that night on the streets of David's town. And the stable was not clean, and the cobblestones were cold, and little Mary, full of grace, with the tears upon her face, had no mother's hand to hold. It was a labor of pain. It was a cold sky above. But for the girl on the ground in the dark, with every beat of her beautiful heart, it was a labor of love. Noble Joseph by her side, calloused hands and weary eyes. There were no midwives to be found on the streets of David's town in the middle of the night. So he held her and he prayed, shafts of moonlight on his face. But the baby in her womb, he was the maker of the moon. He was the author of the faith that could make the mountains move. A labor of pain. It was a cold sky above. But for the girl on the ground in the dark, with every beat of her beautiful heart, it was a labor of love. For little Mary, full of grace, with the tears upon her face, it was a labor of love.
Acoustic Storytime Christmas, coming to you live from Nashville, Tennessee, with special guests Aaron Schust, Cochran and Company, Marc Martel, and as always, your host, that's Jason Gray.
Beautiful song, beautiful performance of that song, Mark. Thank you so much. I'm calling it. This might be my favorite episode of Acoustic Storytime that I've ever taped. I'm just so enjoying myself this evening and this great mix of like classic songs and like new songs. It's just so fun. You guys are great. But we got one more song to go. I hope you don't blow it, Mark, because it's going so good so far, you know. I will say that you've been a friend of mine for years, and I'm so grateful for you. I'm also a fan, you know, all those tours we did with each other. If you're a touring artist, you know, it's you usually don't go hang out and watch the show every night, you know. Maybe you'll watch one show of the tour and then, you know, hang out in the bus and play video games or whatever people are doing on tour, you know. But all those years I was on tour with you, there was hardly ever a night that I didn't slip in the back to be able to hear your guys' set, because I'm a huge fan, and I got to hear you play this song a number of times, and I'm so excited to hear it this evening. So what do you want us to know about this last song?
I wrote this song in 2008. And it's the first Christmas song I ever wrote. It's the first song that my dad ever made it a point to call me and say, "Son, I really love this song." So, you know, if no one else liked it, at least I had that. But turns out a lot of people liked it, and I get to keep playing it at stuff like this. And it's just pretty simple Christmas song. It's got a simple melody. I think the thing that I was trying to do when I was writing the song was, how can I change the melody as little as possible and stay on one note for as long as possible? It was just a little exercise in songwriting.
I love that. This is how a songwriter's mind works, you know. We're like, how can I use as few notes as possible? Yeah, absolutely. I love playing that game.
So, How Many Kings? Follow the star to a place unexpected. Would you believe, after all we've projected, a child in a manger? Lowly and small, the weakest of all, unlikeliest hero, wrapped in his mother's shawl, just a child. Is this who we've waited for? How many kings step down from their thrones? How many lords have abandoned their homes? How many greats have become the least for me? And how many gods have poured out their hearts to romance a world that is torn all apart? How many fathers gave up their sons for me? Bringing our gifts for the newborn Savior, all that we have, whether costly or meek, because we believe. Gold for his honor and frankincense for his pleasure, and myrrh for the cross he'll suffer. Do you believe? Is this who we've waited for? Now, how many kings step down from their thrones? How many lords have abandoned their homes? How many greats have become the least for me? And how many gods have poured out their hearts to romance a world that is torn all apart? How many fathers gave up their sons for me? Only one did that for me. All for me. Yeah. all for me. Oh, all for me. Yeah. Ooh, all for me. All for you. Ooh, how many kings stepped down from their thrones? How many lords have abandoned their homes? How many greats have become the least? How many gods have poured out their hearts to romance a world that is torn all apart? How many fathers gave up their sons for me? Well, you know, only one did that for me. All for me, all for